Cider, but they're obviously looking to change things up ever so slightly, and yeah, not feeling the overpass has been working for them, at least in the recent matchups. And interestingly enough, we talk about all this, oh, they played each other all these times.
Yeah.
The Ancient's not made an appearance, so it does come in, not as a massive curveball, but one that they're looking to test on, maybe one they've been kind of afraid of, maybe one, as they've had some time and whatnot, that they've done some work on. There's a lot of tape on this map for FUT. It tends to be one of their favorite maps as well. So yeah, very, very excited to get into things here, as we will see if this rivalry keeps being FUT-sided, or if there is a difference here. It will be a quick 1-for-1 to kick things off. They have managed to get Lonks boosted up nice and early here, though, so this could be pretty deadly. They're going to go walking into it without considering him at all. He will be traded quickly, though. Meanwhile, how have you gotten away with that through the smoke? It's also been a find by Demon, I believe, just catching a player trying to get into the site. So started off quite well for the T side, but it's not panned out.
It's a mental find from Krebeni. Just wanders, not even shifting. He sprints through that little donut smoke, and oh, that'll be that. Uzi. Last man. E250, a 1v3, a hope and a dream. There's no real chance here. Does have the bomb on his back, sure, but they haven't budged an inch. They're sticking around. They know that this is, if it's going to head anywhere, it will be towards the late side. He's now been spotted and surely to be dropped momentarily. Demon, at range, will close it. And that is a perfect start for FUT. Exactly what they wanted to see for this side, and exactly what they needed as well. You know, coming in towards this off the back of a fantastic stage one, you want to make sure that you can once again just get the level that these guys can play at immediate in towards a series like this.
Keen to start, absolutely looking very, very good, I would say. So yeah, quietly interested to see if Astralis have got some like anti-stratting prepared for this map. That would be a lot of fun if they have, or if they are just kind of throwing caution to the wind and they're like, look, the overpass has not been working, we need to try something different. It's a decent map for us. So yeah, there's a few question marks, but we're going to get them answered, I suppose. Hard eco coming out from Astralis here as they look to just try and take a gun away, maybe force a bomb plant if they can.
Yeah, I think it's a smart call here by Astralis, to be honest. I feel without that bomb plant, it's just not really worthwhile. If they can dive in somewhere and get a plant down, that'll be nice. It looks like they want to head towards B, but as we can tell, it looks like it might be a poor decision. There's 3 players here to meet them, and there's a 4th, now Lonks, who's not too far away in terms of the rotation. Hooksy trying to draw a bit of attention, but he'll be met with a HE, and then a swing from the MP7. Up close, Cemetery with a FAMAS, pulls out the dually, but he'll lose his head. And diving round, they're getting kills out of this. Already, Ster has sort of made this a little bit spicy. A jumping MP9 to close it. But for Astralis, that's 3 kills from a non-invested round. You'll take that.
Yeah, it's a shame not to get the bomb down, but I think they'll be pretty happy with the fact that they can do some really, really good damage there. Very satisfied indeed, and I think moving forwards now, we're going to have to keep an eye on this economy. CT side will still be able to reinvest. I'm also kind of a fan of the fact that they do indeed, you know, go into the M4s now rather than sticking to a really solid bonus, as a lot of teams do. So, in a way, it could be a blessing in disguise. We'll find out. Pace pickup from Astralis, not wasting any time or faking things out towards A, right? The aggression from Krebeni will spot the bomb, though.
It can be a blessing, but it can also be a bit of a curse as well. If you come into a round like this with a full reinvestment and then end up losing it, leaves you with a bit of a janky buy-in towards the next rather than playing out the bonus. And maybe the knock-on effect comes from the casualties in that round where you sort of, if you lose this one, you go back and say, man, if we didn't lose 3 players, we have a fine buy. They just are 1-by-1 fighting ramp right now, and it is so easy for Astralis. That's 2 for you. 1 for Hooksy, who got found. He found one on a bit of a lurk, and this round's all but done. There's just no chance here.
Indeed. They may walk into the remaining 2 players. That gives them a tryer's chance, maybe a 20% at the round. However, Astralis playing pretty well here, just gathering information, making sure not to be lazy about things. Because it becomes like, okay, round-winning situation, but also really cleanly.
Yeah.
So you have a secondary objective in a way that I think could work for them. And I think they'll get away with that as well, as they will plant that bomb. It should be flawless if everything pans out. Maybe they lose like one player on a little mini hunt, but really nice look for Astralis. Getting that first round on the board quite early and, as we say, quite cleanly.
I mean, more at the tail end here. Yabi, nice shot from him. Longs will lose his head. I don't think Cemetery's long for the world here. Down he goes. It's flawless. Not even a point of damage dealt towards Astralis. What a first T-side round put on the board for them. What a way. What a statement as well to kickstart in towards their investments here on Ancients. And kind of the worries that come through of that previous round before this, where it's, you know, on the low buy, they get 3 kills. It does hinder the economy. And sure, getting rifles out is nice, but if you get decimated like this, that's not a good look. And it's going to leave you with a really awkward buy of your own regard. They're going to force buy in because their economy is all out of whack and leaves them with a really uncomfortable invest situation. You got a FAMAS and a few upgraded pistols. It's basically as good as it gets. Astralis should not only be tying up this game, but they should get a free path to a third on the board and taking that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty quick work. And again, you know, it comes down to the fact that they're able to do all that damage with the Glocks. So yeah, great stuff from them in the early stages here, and maybe indeed the Ancient looking convincing, you might say. At least so far. Stair to open. Traders there. Pretty looking good here. Actually in for another. Wait a minute. Deagle. It's close. Demon just needs to place his shots, but he's kind of spamming away. Surely got to be low on ammo now as well. He's called for some support. They'll pick up this FAMAS again. It is man advantage for Astralis, but not out of the woods just yet. You know, it looks very, very nervy here. Yabi going to get involved and try and just stop all the shenanigans. He does a great job of bailing out there. Stairs somehow survives all that.
Yeah, he just stays tucked. He knows he can't afford to even go for a jiggle peek. Any tag and he's dead. I mean, he gets bailed out. Really, really well done. Diving back in towards Red Room to support his teammate and also to recover the bomb too. That very nearly fell apart, but it didn't. That means Astralis now put themselves into actually a pretty commanding position here in the early parts of this T side. Yeah, how Stair stays alive, I do not know, but it's a good effort by Cemetery. Just not enough. Demon needs to be a little bit more confident on that swing with the Deagle to see off Stair, and in doing so, there's guns to work with, and it could have been great. What a name that comes through. How much damage has been dealt there?
Mental.
Just shy of 300, really, and it's all an absolute shooting gallery in mid. The low buy put to rest in a matter of moments. That is the simplest round Astralis will ever play.
I feel surely there might have been 2. One nade to do that amount of damage is insane.
Yeah, but they all are. They're all unarmored. Yeah,
on top of each other. You kind of underestimate.
Might even get a replay of it. Who knows?
Maybe. At the moment, we are looking across the board at all these players who I think at the moment are quite tensely tied in. They feel that they should have a decent chance of winning this game and maybe indeed qualifying through to that land portion. Whoa, landing there from Fozy, but the light tag, not the heaviest of shots, and they're not necessarily going to know about it. Demon left really quite low here. He becomes bait for Krebeni to work off of. They're fully just rushing in, basically, really dry towards B here from Astralis.
Yeah.
They'll pull back after the 1-for-1.
It's a bit of a basic call, and don't love it initially, but the fact that it's only the one casualty is fine. We've got Cemetery playing all the way towards spawn. He's holding for the potential of somebody pushing through Red Room and trying to wrap. 2 towards B, and they've gone for a mean crossfire in towards Cave here. It's Lonks alone as that A anchor. Peeking in towards the orb. Ill-advised. Especially a second peek by Jugs as well. Kind of fortunate to stay alive in that matter. Stair trying to catch a rotator. He's trying to draw attention, but actually he's sort of buying space for the bomb here because the bomb's rotating over. 30 seconds and going all the way back to A. However, FUT are going to stack up B.
Yeah, FUT just so confused, I think. Like, Stair feels like a conventional lurker, but as you say, he's just gained so much. Yeah, he's just gained so much control that they're going to work off of it. So Astralis looking very good here. I mean, it does leave them quite low time. Bomb dropped by imaginary player, you know, that could hypothetically be here, but obviously just not the case in this round. So yeah, it was kind of close to the wire. The situation worked perfectly, and you know, that's the read, right? It worked brilliantly for them.
Yeah.
Great round coming in from Astralis once again. They're looking kind of cerebrally quite sharp at the moment.
Yeah, it's a nice little push and pull they're doing at the moment. It just feels like they're dragging FUT around the map, and FUT are being forced into engagements that they really just don't want to be taking. It's nice work. Map control is immaculate from predominantly Dane's side at the moment, and well, FUT, all you can do in a situation like this is save. Now, the good news is saving a 3 alive and their loss bonus generally means a reinvestment in, right? And it should be pretty fine to do so. Drops will come over. There should be a decent amount of utility, but they've got to find better ways to pressure Astralis at the moment. And they're going to call for a pretty early timeout, an opportunity for Coolio enter. Yeah, at the moment, it's not looking as clinical as we're used to with FUT. I mean, FUT, as we've seen recently for them from stage 1, previous tournaments, like they have, when things are going really well for them, they just steamroll past opponents, and they've done it in the last couple of meetings with Astralis as well. They've made light work of them, but unfortunately, kind of where we're at the moment, feels like they're sort of half asleep.
Yeah, maybe the case, to be fair. I was going to say, like, how common has the Ancient been? They've played it against M80. It was in the veto last time in the stage 1 matchup against these teams. So just a slight change may well have paid off here for Astralis. Potentially FUT, we're expecting the same veto again. And that's just something that they've got to warm up into here and, yeah, put their brains into Ancient mode where they were potentially expecting an overpass.
Yeah.
And some changes there rather than a completely different map.
The interesting thing about it, though, is that, like, generally speaking, when I've caught FUT, I mean, they're Ancient's really solid. I mean, sure, don't get me wrong, Astralis is as well, but some of their wins, they're going to look incredible. I think Long says, hey, Anchor is really effective.
Yeah. I think it's just the curveball. Like I say, Astralis obviously taking a small risk, right? It's not like a huge thing. It's not a massive shock, but it does come in as something that's like, okay, ignoring FUT and their stats and their history. Hopefully Astralis have prepared something here and shored up their game on Ancient. That does seem to be the case. This is kind of the joy of getting a slightly early qualification, is that you do have a couple days to do some work. Maybe just 1 day, depending on when you do qualify. But they qualified 3-1, so I believe that would give them 1 day.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Jugs sort of has to go huge here. It'll be that first contact. And the first find for him as Yabi loses his life. And they're immediately going to hightail it back towards B. But that initial spam by Hooksy will give them the space to do so. The only thing they have to be concerned about was whether there was a Red Room player quick on the rotate, but they've not. They've beaten the timer back over towards B here. And the first fight on the site itself, Hooksy comes out on top. He'll catch Jugs. And I think for Cemetery and Longs, who are both pretty low, in a 2 versus 4, they're going to give this one a miss. They're going to go for the save. Again, Astralis up to 5.
It's also mechanically, I think, Astralis looking good, right? We've talked about the mind games and whatnot working pretty effectively for them. This is another round in which that happens, but I think they are also able to lean on a couple individuals that are looking better here in Pro League than usual. You know, Stairs not normally the loudest fragger. Hooksy, of course, not necessarily expected to do that, but they, I feel, obviously looking okay here, but they've had decent maps themselves when we have caught them, so I think there's a couple more names that are maybe just doing loads of mechanical work. Are we going to be able to save this AK here? Kind of paramount, to be honest. He will go down. They should still be able to buy, but it would have been nice to have that one-tap potential.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's relentless from Astralis, right? Because even then, the fact that they're more than happy in that situation to go for the hunt, I think the hunt's the right call for them. You really want to start digging that early grave. Sure, there's a buyback in place for FUT, but you're putting them in a really uncomfortable spot. Cemetery in towards the AWP. Rifling core around him. Won't invest with that full belt of util, but this is a pretty nice lead to have on the T side of Ancient, no less. Yabi tossing the smoke in Shelf. It's there for the first. Yabby loses life. Longs for 2. And that's elbow control mid taken by FUT. That's a lot better. Finally, proactivity on the CT side by FUT.
Yeah, good to see. Really good to see, especially after the sort of previous round goes a bit sideways and now the econ is not great. You don't get to save those players. You'd maybe think that they'd turtle up a bit and really be worried about losing money and having to eco things out in the next round. But no, they put their best foot forward. Thus far, it's paid off. I think that will continue to be the case. Rosie, the only one left. Just managed to get a nice find there on the jumping longs. Can't clear cleanly enough, though, as FUT will battle back, and pretty good time to get around as well. The gap close is certainly possible. However, immediate timeout from Astralis. Big respect for that.
Yeah, exactly. I do really kind of love that from Astralis. They know they can't allow FUT to snowball. They can't allow this side to get in. That's a clean round they've just taken. That's one that'll really give you a lot in terms of alleviating pressure, and they know better than any, especially because the last couple of times out, FUT have sort of decimated them. They've been a bit of that kryptonite. Astralis know not to let up at all. I think the way they've started, kind of being 5-2 up, having a bit of a breathing room, you want to be getting at least 6 rounds on this T side for Astralis, if not actually guaranteeing the lead towards the second half of the 7th. That one was a little sloppy, too easy to isolate the duels, and in doing so, pretty simple for FUT to put a third on the board with only a couple of casualties. Post timeout, how do things change for the T side? Using it towards the AWP himself.
Oh my goodness. So many nades in from the CT side. Yeah, that's crazy. Stair will find the kill, though. So Maui made a tweet about how Ancients kind of devolved into just mid spamming and so many nades and who comes out on top.
It's kind of like Inferno Banana, isn't it?
Yeah, a little. It has potentially been solved in a sense, but Astralis get the first kill here despite all that nade damage that has been done. So, a little curious, can the likes of Krebeni capitalize if they're going to head towards A, or will it be more of a B lean? Feels like Astralis have plenty of options available to them.
How aggro does Longs want to get here? The answer is not very, but he could have had a little look down towards door, sort of pushing Shelf, and doing so would have initiated a fight at the least. But 45 seconds, the bomb's heading back to A. There's a couple of bodies in the direction of B that are sending the ruse, but Krebeni's going to be tested here. This is a really big ask for him, and he has to get probably at least 2 out of this. Unchecked so far, round the corner for 1. Now a known quantity. Needed the second, can't get it as Ryu and Stair combine to take the site. Tap for the plant just in case there was one lurking in that smoke. But I think FUT have to put the tail between their legs and get out of there. That'll be another on the board for Astralis. And great to see immediate success of attack timeout.
Yeah, that's why you take it. And of course, immediately shutting down the FUT momentum. So they get 1 round immediately returned on. It's just not going to be good enough. Not what they want to see at this point. Demon will take a forward stance to try and save the gun here. I think they may well be able to buy. If the save is successful, I think only 1 M4. It's not going to be a buy. You know, you look at Cemetery's pretty low on cash, about as low as you can get. So
got an ult though.
Terrorists win.
Might do something.
Yeah.
You can drop 1, which is about all they need. I don't know, man. It's going to be a real all-in kind of buy and lacking a bit of utility. So I'd maybe like to see something down the middle personally.
It feels like a lose-lose, right? Because you either force buy around this, but it's not good enough force buy, or you low buy around an AWP, which is always kind of awful to work with as well. So no decision really seems great. They are going to go for the force buy around it. Some utility in a couple of sensors, because a lot of these smokes and mollies are going to be thrown in towards elbow. So late round, they're not going to have loads, but this fight is paramount as Longs and Demon find a positive trade 4v3.
Yeah, they go for it again in towards mid, and this time they find good success.
Needed that.
Cemetery hitting his right mouse button instead of his left mouse button, I suppose, makes it slightly awkward. Krebeni caught off by a dry burst there. Longs is in for the trade. The numbers still looking good. They've got info that 1 is out towards A as well. So trying and rushing to isolate this one player. Unfortunately, it's not worked for them. Now down to a 2 versus 2. They get a bit more nervous. And the time ticking on these 2T players to join up and be able to help each other. Low HP for these players. They get the smoke down towards ramp, in fact, so not on top of the bomb necessarily. And I feel Hooksy here from this position is going to have the run of the mill. He's got a Molotov lined up. Surely that's just got to be that. The AWP comes in to add insult to injury. And it will indeed be another round for Astralis. They find it. They find all the kills. And they take 7 now, looking very, very promising after a great little start there for FUT.
Yeah, honestly, Fuzi's an absolute stunner there. Especially because Hooksy was taking his sweet time to rotate over and support. I mean, he'd taken a fight, Bomber gone down, and another fight before Hooksy had even began making his way up towards Shelf. So Fuzi, if he gets traded or if he dies there, that round's done. Hooksy was so far away, there's just no way he could have run over it in time and kind of denied the defuse. So Fuzi has to be kind of a standalone in that essentially 1 versus 3, and he does so well, even diving through off the back of the Molotov. It's a lovely little move, gets his kill, gets out again to deny any chance of that defuse coming through. So fantastic work individually as a stunner of a round. And for Astralis, they're in a really good spot. Commanding lead now for them, and it's of course guaranteed for this first half. There's that bomb goes down. Hooksy at this point, it was still not even over, and it's just brilliant from him. Single-handedly, on a lot of occasions, he gets kind of put into these late-round situations, and he just seems so collected in them. 2 more rounds to play, and for FUT, this league could get even more damning at the tail end. Again, the financial situation isn't great. They've gone for a forced buy here, but it requires a couple of FAMASs on MP7 and very limited utility. And if you lose this, you can have nothing in towards the last of the half.
Astralis with a very confident mix-up in the veto this time around. Not too different, but just a little sprinkling of confusion, potentially. And it has seemingly worked thus far. FUT don't really have an answer. The odd round comes in off the back of the individuals. They are ready for this B hit. First kill for them. Can they hold the line, I suppose, is now the question. The Molotov to split the T side by time for those rotations. They're still going to dedicate in here. Re-smokes required. Gap over this long side of things. There will be a couple CTs trying to abuse that fact, maybe as the digits start getting tapped in. Bozy with a forward stance. Oh man, no way he's able to find both. I mean, that just really paints the picture. That tells you how it's been going. Rubeni finds himself alone after a 4 versus 3 while they were all prepared for the B here. It's just unbelievable. I mean, you couldn't write it in a sense. Bozy survives and finds another name. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the airstrike didn't have the right coordinates there, so it completely misses, and he swings and finds. Fantastic. And we'll continue singing the praises of Fozy. He's looking so sharp, just so confident. Even this fight here, it's such an inherent risk, and he makes it stick. And then that one there, brilliant. To see off Rubeni. 8 for Astralis. As we said, the buy was probably going to be a little bit funky, and yeah, I mean, it's not great. Double FAMAS, double MP9 on MP7, and again, somewhat thin utility. They're going to go aggro, though.
Oh, we like it. We like it. Some good damage done. Little 1-for-1 over there. However, they will keep it coming towards the B bomb site. Weird. Weird. Very weird. Oh, my goodness. Neither of them expecting each other, but thankfully Fozy was like, I'll just chill with the Deagle, you know, just in case. FAMAS coming round now. He's got 4 to find here in order to salvage things. Not going to happen. Ryu takes his head clean off. And Astralis having a good time. A little stressful maybe, but they are making it work here as they move up to 9 at the turn of the half. Looking super, super effective. This Ancient seemingly was a genius pick. We'll see if FUT can give us anything on their T side.
Run it back.
Welcome back. It was a fantastic showing from Astralis. They just look so clean, so comfortable. 9-3 at the half, and for FUT to have sort of had the edge over Astralis in previous series, it's not looking very likely here on map number 1. So yeah, I feel like if the Danes get a pistol, this might be kind of over before it even really begins.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. FUT giving us a taste of what they can do, but really not able to hit that all-important consistency step. He's here. Does get traded swiftly. Dixie, meanwhile, trying to hold the line, nearly loses his head. The A-bomb site, not very well defended. Krebeni then, if he finds one of these players, I think puts them in a very, very good spot. The movement from Yabi is absolutely wonderful to witness. An advantage now for the CT side, but they have conceded the A plant. Can this post plant hold? Will there be a retake on the cards? Yabi spotting some info. I think he may well have seen both in the donut there. All the same, these CT's got to move a bit quick. They don't have a kit available. Long's looking good as he takes 2. It's now suddenly just down to Ryu all by himself. He's got those dualies, but he just has no time, right? They play around the time, keep him at bay, don't give him the fights, and they'll win the round. They've done exactly that. He looks to back off.
It's lovely from Longs, actually. It's such a kind of patience play from him. There's no way he survives this, and he won't. Demon will see it off. That's a lot better. That's a lot more like it for FUT, and now we'll give them just a bit of a pathway back in towards this game. Still, like, quite a few things do have to go right for them before I start to believe. We're talking kind of, you know, they've got the pistol now, forced by first gun round, maybe even 2, if you want to be pedantic about it. For Astralis, I think when the guns come back into play, it might be a little bit more similar to what we saw, right? Their controlling towards that T side was excellent. So all assumption will be that the CT side will be no different. Won't be in this one. Just a low buy for them. We got 1 pop flashing towards mid as they're going to dive on through. The pack of pistols looking for a couple of bodies, but unlikely. It's a mowdown, a massacre in towards mid. 3 for the Mac 10 as money is made. And now for FUT, looking a little better, right? This is where we want to be. And also even as well for FUT, a bonus buy, which is inexpensive. That was actually one of the things that killed them in towards that first half. They had the bonus buy, they won it, but they lost 3 casualties. And in doing so, it meant that their gun round, which they then lost, kind of killed them and put them into this real rot of form. This, at least, going in towards the first gun round, it's not all doom and gloom if FUT lose this one.
Yeah, it feels like we got here quite quickly as well. So, you know, Astralis, at the very least, need to do a lot to slow the roll, force some longer rounds and later exchanges. However, it started very, very well. Will be a trade back. Ooh, Ryu on the edge of this smoke. Demon thinking about it, but then he pulls away from the rush in there. He will go towards mid and find the kill over there. It's all going to be on Ryu. They seem to know about him, and indeed they will deal. He does his best. That's so fast, though. And this is the thing with FUT. You have to be careful playing them at that pacier game. They're going to be really solid at this, and they'll close that gap. They'll confuse you. They'll give you less time to talk and think and figure out what's going on. And that will allow this gap to close. We're already at 9-6.
Yeah. There really isn't many teams in the world who I think can, just in terms of like raw pugging, out-pug FUT. Like, you know, there's plenty of teams that are kind of seen at the moment as better than FUT, and don't get me wrong, but the reason why they're better is because they force FUT to play to their pace. They force FUT to play to their style. You can't fight fire with this FUT side at the moment. I think probably the only team that probably could do that is Vitality at the moment. Maybe you can make the argument for the likes of kind of a Furia, but even the likes of like a Spirit. Sure, Donk can individually, but there's like more depth in terms of kind of role for role. Like, you know, you value Krebeni as a bit higher of a fragger than the likes of Magix, for example. And this is where I think for Astralis, they're sort of slipping the net a little bit. They're playing against one of the just puggier sides, raw in terms of their nature. Young fraggers who want to fly into these fights. You can't do that. They've got to find ways to slow this down. They've got to force FUT into these late rounds. That's where they'll start to feel a bit of the pressure. But fortunately, round number 16, following their timeout, there isn't really a buy to work with. And to make things even better, for FUT, that was a bonus buy. They brought in a lot of, essentially, Galils and Mac 10s in towards that previous round, and we sit here with them scooping up a couple of M4s, having the 3 remaining AKs. I mean, they're loving life.
Move down ramp to try and find that early kill there, Astralis. Unfortunately, there's no one really around, and Demon has heard 2 or 3 over there. So you get some decent information. Bits and pieces of the team will now start pushing towards A. FUT taking it slow, but quite methodical here. Looking relatively good. Yabi with the deagle is in a good spot for my money. We'll see what he might be able to get done. Catching them going for that boost, but unfortunately unable to... Oh, find any kills. Demon
Okay.
with a team kill. That's slightly awkward. There wasn't even necessarily anyone on the screen. He was just spamming away through that smoke. Teammate fully walking into his crosshair at the worst time. Speaking of, as they try and get that bomb down, this is when the pistols will burst forwards. I mean, it's definitely doable. Yabi can land 2 shots. He could take this despite the low HP. Despite the low HP, Yabi gonna do it. I don't believe that. Oh my goodness. Right place, right time, and keeping his cool.
Generational fumble there by
Yes, absolutely.
FUT.
That's
That
like
is-
a 1v3 easily.
That is awful. Just in terms of like the buy itself, they never should lose that round, but just mistake that accumulate. Well done for Yabi. I mean, that one is...
It makes a difference now.
It's unfortunate, but it really does make a difference. Just spot on. Yabi, credit to him, and he does it with 2 HP, no less. I mean, yes, they were low, but the confidence for him to swing into those fights. We are back, baby. Astralis, that is a huge round to scalp away. And for FUT, just when it felt like there was a real decent chance of a recovery, that is absolutely going to knock the confidence.
Yeah, FUT do have a couple rounds like that, man. I think that's kind of what comes with the territory of playing a bit faster, a bit more instinctual. Sometimes the comms or the protocols,
Yeah.
who's watching this angle, Yabi's able to really creep out there. But they're back with a vengeance. They're angry. Yabi only going to get 1 here. Oh, Krebeni spamming through as well to find Stair. Ridiculous frag. The AWP is here in pretty good time, however. Brings it back to a 3 versus 3. They don't have much to really deal with him or scare him away. They'll get that bomb down. Can they hold on to the site this time?
There's no T-side utility. This is raw fight now, but there is utility for the CT. They just picked up a smoke off a corpse.
Oh,
It might have actually been Yabi as well. One of those, I think, was Yabi's body, so that's actually going to help. And now time is really ticking.
Yeah, it's getting dangerous, but they're a little lucky to find these smokes on the floor. It forces Astralis into a wild move.
Oh,
however,
they
it
know
is
they lost
working
this.
for them. Cemetery on the AWP here. Got to make this work. Got to make this sing. They have a smoke for that bomb. He misses the shot and he will lose his head. It's awfully close, you know.
They've got
I don't
it,
know.
though.
I
They've
think
got
they
it.
just about do have it, but that was very, very close in the end.
Yeah, down to the wire a little bit, but again, that's a lovely late dive through. Fuzi's a bit of the human flashbang as he comes through that smoke, but it all ends up working out super nice. And another round for Astralis. They are knocking on the door of starting this series off very well indeed. And actually a really good recovery into that round. Not only in terms of the retake, but actually they were in a position where the numbers were not in their favor. The situation wasn't really looking good for them, especially with those find of smokes on the floor. It's really nicely done by Astralis. Playing with such confidence, but that's the other side, is that, you know, despite maybe FUT looking a little rough, they can have moments like this. It's all on Ryu, needs a multi-kill. 1-2, but he just about misses out on the third as he runs out of ammo, but still. Cemetery now left all alone. A 1 versus 2 form, and Yabi's got other ideas. It was close there for FUT, but it's not good enough, and it's map point Astralis.
Ryu has done well, to be fair. You know, he finds 2, he pulls them in, kind of wastes all of their ammunition, so he buys time for those rotations, and then they're forced into reloads and everything, which is obviously a little awkward. We'll find out here if FUT have got the ability, if they're able to dig a bit deeper. We have a proactive timeout from Astralis, despite being on map point, despite being 6 rounds to the good. They're like, we got to close this. We have to respect them, and we have to pummel this one down. It would be one of the more one-sided maps in this sort of back-and-forth rivalry that they've had.
Especially
there's
a favourable one for
dotted in there.
Astralis. You know
But
what I
yes,
mean?
absolutely. In recent memory, this is probably one of the better Astralis maps, and that change up to Ancient seems to have worked.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Well, as you mentioned, this proactive timeout. I'll take a moment to converse, but I just want to make sure, see it off here and now. Again, it's one of those things where you just don't want to allow any opportunity to get back into this. and especially considering that despite the wealth of lead and despite how well they've looked in towards the CT, there is still limited finances long-term for Astralis. They know as well. A pretty triumphant loss here in towards this round will actually cost them a couple of rounds. You need to be a little careful of it. And the util, just to try and sort of force FUT to slow down, as we were talking about. Don't allow them to just run and gun at you. Force them into a bit more of a late round situation. Smoke down ramp, but they might just die through this.
Yeah, it looks that way for sure. They're going to try and burst in. The Molotov will kind of slow the back end down, and the Vanguard's not very good, unfortunately. The support is here, but everyone's dead. Everyone's dead. It's Longs. He's the only one left, and he's spotted out towards middle. Does just about win his fight. With that info and HP that it takes him to get that one, surely dead to rights him. And indeed, Fozy will take him 13-6. Smiles on the faces of Astralis, as you would expect. A really, really clean first map. Very well done.
It's a perfect end! What is this Counter-Strike? This is madness!
All right, welcome. We're getting ready for map number 2. Maybe a little bit of a shock to some to see that Astralis have cruised through map number 1. They made it look, honestly, effortless for a vast majority of that Ancient, but we now head in towards Mirage. And let's be frank, FUT are one of the best teams in the world on this map. So all signs feel like it should be going towards a third map. But Astralis just proved us once wrong already in towards that opener. So I'm not going to discount them just yet.
Yeah, no, that is true. There's maybe in the context of the matchup and the history between these two teams, it can certainly swing and have Astralis gotten into their heads. But I just feel like, there's just way too much security on this map for FUT.
Yeah.
And then the exact opposite for Astralis. So this would be incredible. If Astralis can win this one, I think we'd be like, okay, some serious stuff going to be happening in stage 2 for Astralis.
True.
But I don't see it happening. So yeah, I think we do have a third map written all over this one, which again, may well favor Astralis once we get there, but it is Counter-Strike, anything can happen. A quiet pistol to kick things off. Just digging for info a minute and then trying to see what they can get away with. Good timing from Stair as he peeks out. Finds one, spots another couple here. I don't think he's quite seen the bomb, but now they will confirm it. Trying to eliminate Stair, and he's looking sharp. Another headshot landing for him. This is a weird setup as well from the CTs. They've got a player in towards the ramp. Certainly going to be difficult to deal with now. Yabi getting involved. It's a 4 versus 2 before the dust settles. Fozy's Julie's going to get it done. So, Astralis picking up the pistol, and it's a pretty damn good one at that.
Yeah, they look really quite comfortable. It looked like a nice read as well. And they actually invited in quite a bit of pressure in those engagements, but they come out on top. Coat's on for Krabeni. Full coat. Someone needs to turn the heat on in that room, but they also need to turn the heat on in the server too, because it was a pretty slow ending towards that first map. I mean, they never really got into it, to be honest, for FUT, and not the start that they want either. Love to sort of get out the gates nice and early on this seaside, really start to snowball in a positive way. The bomb plant, generally speaking, should facilitate some level of a buy coming through for FUT. We shall see. Slight tech pause here, though. My assumption is on Demon's side.
Getting the headphones changed up. I love that. You got the laptop with the webcam facing the other way. It's a real janky kind of setup there.
Yeah. So that's probably facing Demon's monitor.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I could even catch 2, technically. If you can angle it right, you probably get like 2 people's setups in one.
Got a little cat plushie or something here.
I feel like it's a red panda.
Red panda, yeah, that's a good shout, yeah.
Maybe a little adjustment of the headphones or a camera or something of the likes, but back underway, only a brief tech pause, and get the show back on the road. Double Galil, as we mentioned, we did expect some sort of a force buy, considering it was a bomb plant. So we get, double Galil, double Tech 9, and a Deagle. And the lesser weaponry of the pistols are prioritizing utility, which I can get behind. We'll just see. Smoke over, flash behind. Interesting nade, to say the least. That just kind of goes nowhere. I think maybe he expected a little bit more of an aggressive rush there, but he doesn't get it. It's all a ruse, because they're doubling back towards mid, and the bomb is in mid as well. That's by no means a commitment, especially now that they've got Longs up in towards jungle.
Yeah, really, really quickly here as well. I don't think he's going to be necessarily considered. They might start to think about it, but by then it might be too late. Not making a lot of moves. Looks like he's maybe just cutting someone off in theory.
They're slightly expecting it. You see, they're holding murder hole, you know what I mean? So I have a feeling they might at least keep eyes trained for a little bit on this.
Stair has to be very, yeah, okay. I feel like they do know Stair is really tight on his like retreat there, making sure not to overextend.
And also Fuzi's holding the cross, so Stair's basically always safe for now, as long as Fuzi continues to do so. I mean, he's locked on that position. He's eyes trained. Stair, only good for one. Yeah, gotta clear it, but Fuzi loses the fight. He'd known for what felt like a minute that there was a player there, but he still ends up going down.
He just got bored, really, and it ends up being the ultimate price for that. Ryu looking to try and spam away. Oh, if he'd taken a second, yeah, the feet were sticking out there. He definitely could have found that kill. Not the case. Now, it does come down to just 2 on this T side, one of which is on 1 HP. Not looking very nice at all. There is no kit available. There is no utility available, in fact. So long as we keep our eyes on him, can he take a good player here in the initial attack? No is the answer. They will find the kills. Gotta get on that bomb pretty sharp. It's relatively close, but Astralis will take it. Still, I think you can be happy with that. 2 kills and a bomb plant. Could have been a tiny bit more, but unfortunately not to be.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll take it for sure, I think, on the Force. And again, with a bomb plant and a couple of kills, some teams would actually just go back into a Force buy here. You've also got a little bit more loss bonus to work with, which can facilitate a slightly stronger Force investment of a couple more Galils. I feel like FUT are aggressive enough where they might actually go for that. They've made that one close. Yeah, they're going to do exactly that. It doesn't really shock me too much for FUT. This feels right up their wheelhouse of go back into Force buy. There's some more patient teams who would definitely be half buying here, full buying towards the next. But for FUT, in their mind, it's like, we've just made that pretty close. Surely with a little bit more of an investment, we're going to make it closer, if not in our favor. So once again, back in towards mid. Progress, but yeah, he's here. Pretty patient from him as well. He very easily could have gone for a swing. It would have been costly. But they were kind of expecting it, but he'll drop a smoke and play behind.
Boosted up again, so the option to go window. They're not taking it at the moment.
Nice nade.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage considering he's boosted up like that.
Yeah, like kind of went like below him, but I guess it's shrapnel ultimately, right? I guess it explodes from underneath. It's rough in its own way.
Indeed. Certainly feels like the case. Oh, Stair with a nice find, though. They maybe heard him jumping up, I suppose. It seems like they were relatively sure, or the nade damage might have translated around. Fozy, meanwhile, run of the mill here as there are no piece of utility to really deal with him. Lands another tag, missing the Palace player, but he'll go back in for the repeat. Looking good while doing so.
He's so lucky to stay alive there. Takes a lot of damage, 5 points of HP, flash over, long to avoid. Symmetry is that first line of contact. There's just no way you're getting a plant here. No way in hell, and it's already denied. Fuzi will see it off. He's had a fantastic round. The final he gets with only just 5 points of HP. It's a third in the round for him, and Astralis, another on the board for them. But some of the similar level of woes that we saw in towards map number 1 are also implementing themselves in towards map 2. Yeah, Fuzi, first 2, kind of fantastic, especially that second one, because it just makes sure there's just no real progression towards the A site. And it bought time for the rotations. Brilliant work. 3-0, and with that being a Force, Forces can continue to happen if there is bomb plants for the T side, but it wasn't there.
Yeah, they have to move down to the reluctant eco here, I'm sure, as they just wanted to stay hot on the heels, keep that pressure on. Astralis starting to build a lot of steam here. And the worry starts coming in, you know, this is the thing. We can conjecture and have a bit of fun with it, but you see that Ancient pickup, that maybe raises an eyebrow, you're like, okay. And now they're looking good on Mirage. It's like, wow, damn, have they just been really preparing for this matchup? Probably, right? You know, just putting a lot of time and effort into the expectation here, and the expectation is that Mirage would come out. So Astralis, some homework. So far, it's paying off. It's a question of whether FUT can find the ability to get back into this game. You would expect so, given their history and success on this map, but it's worrisome in the early stages.
Also, I want to say that, you know, for FUT, compared to what we've seen of them as of late, like especially this year, so far in the map and a fifth that we've got so far, this is a kind of a gross underperformance by their standards. Like, this is a side that are normally so sharp. Like, it's the simple things that they're failing at. You know, we can talk about, like, Astralis, I think, planning for this matchup and doing the right preparation, but, like, they are just winning aim duels, like, for the most part, pretty easily as well. It's a nice shot from Jugs there for one as a consolation, but an easy trade. But, you know, we're seeing so many head-to-heads where Astralis are not even struggling to win, which is so alarming compared to what we're used to from FUT. Like, we expect this side, and what we've known them to be is these kind of like face-it demons, these you know, FPL kind of pug stars in their own regard, and they're so mechanically sharp, but we've not seen any of that in this series at the moment. First map, they got decimated, honestly, and a lot of times just by brute firepower.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I think just an Astralis that are looking really, really warm here, really quite comfortable coming into this.
Yeah. Yabi's been really impressive. The impact of his kills are massive, and of course, Fuzi continues to shine. They're going to go contact, and they walk straight into Ryu for one. Quick trade, sure, but up on balcony, Yabi remains long, so 180 to find his head, but there's still potential threats around. Spamming the smoke, it's close, and Hooksy will get it. He's met with a HG, but he's still alive and thriving as it's a numbers advantage for Astralis. I speak too soon. Spam on the smoke, Hooksy loses his life, and Fuzi called upon again. Flash over, will bait out his position. But where is Stare? They still look for him. A smoke that'll allow the plant, and they're trying to spam it. They just can't quite get it off.
Yeah, the nade's a bit late as well. You know, there's right ideas here, but unfortunately not quite perfect in the execution. Tiny bits of utility. No kit, though, for this CT side is kind of the key thing for me. Stare. Molly goes down. Nothing. Ooh, off the back of it. There is a kit. It has been communicated, and he will pick it up, so that saves them some time. Krabeni is quick, and they've lost track of this player that's in sandwich, really. Oh, nice shot from Fuzi. Surely no time, and it doesn't matter as Krabeni takes his head off. So some effort for sure to get there, but FUT are finally in with their first round.
Yeah, finally. I think the one real detail that gives for that round is that long spam on the Hooksy smoke, right? He's trying to play behind it to buy time for rotation, but when he falls, that's also the kit getting dropped as well, which they need to spend time to go and recover. Does well for his, but yeah, in the end, well played. Krabeni needed to stand tall in that engagement. I don't think Fuzi would have had the time to go and collect the kit and defuse anyway, but just buying time around Palace is nice. But off the back of their first round, FUT will call for their first time out. So maybe still not completely surefire and certain in their CS just yet.
Yeah, definitely a slightly more nervous looking FUT. I mean, this is the thing, right? You come into stage one, you're the hot team, you should absolutely be able to steamroll through. They do just that. There's some easier opponents down there, of course. Stage two, a few more expectations now, you know? It's okay, these guys got a lot of eyeballs on them, and the momentum, the hype and everything seems to be stepping up. You've lost teams like Paravision that also had the same kind of expectations. So I think there's some nerves. Your first matchups against an old rival. And certainly it does feel that these guys are not worried, but just maybe stressed out.
Yeah.
Coming into this, there's a lot riding on their shoulders at the moment.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I like this idea. It is being held for by Jugs, but taking this ramp control is super important, and Fuzi, I don't know, because of it being a left eye peek for him, whether his shoulder might have been spotted by Longs, but he's going to pull away. So now this is two crucial positions held for in a proactive and quite aggressive stance. They've got deep B-Apps control and deep ramp control. Astralis, this is a nice little setup. They just, honestly, at this point, got to win their aim duels. They are going to be tested sooner rather than later as the split comes through. The question is, where is it going to come through to? Yeah, but you're going to have a look. Again, this is proactive. It's nice. I like this from them. As we creep towards the 40-second mark, decision to be made here. Where do FUT want to go? This feels like an A split naturally. And that's a smoke towards top con phase. That is going to be the call. First test is Stare, and he passes with flying colors. As he looks for a second, he'll get it. The third is on offer. A spray down in towards top connector. That'll seal the deal. There's nothing that Cemetery can do all alone. He looks for a consolation. Okay. It's carnage in this round. It's a 1 versus 2, but we're 15 seconds. Surely he's got no chance in hell to win this one out. He can't collect the bomb and plan, and Fuzi sees him off. That is a wild, wild one. But it's the same result. Astralis win.
Indeed. One of our higher octane rounds of the series so far. That's safe to say. I think it's been a game of a lot of just trading and really well-placed fights and whatnot. So lovely to see Stare on the stairs. It's got legs maybe, but he looks pretty good from there.
We'll workshop it, don't worry.
He's got legs from there, and indeed he looks pretty damn good. Some lovely bits of movement, and great to see him again proactive. He's been having a fantastic tournament for me, by his standards, let's say.
Yeah.
Really delivering a few more numbers than usual here, so hopefully that continues, and especially against a team like FUT, you're going to need Stare to be stepping up. Ryu, good for 2. Busy with some missed shots, but he's been flashed about here. Difficult for him. He gets a smoke down to try and work around it, and playing pretty aggressively off the back of it. The shots are really missing. His presence, though, is a threat, and they work around that. Demons recovered an M4. Can he win out this 1 versus 3? Falls off his perch, and Yabi will take him down. So Astralis keeps stringing them together here. 1 lost round is not really an issue, and similar to Ancient, they're doing a very good job of just making sure it's like, okay, you won 1, doesn't matter. And then they just go right back into finding success themselves.
Yeah, agreed. Pretty simple one as well. I think, again, these sort of rounds, we've seen in the past for FUT, one thing that's made them scary is, like, you know, these 4 spikes or the Tech 9 rush rounds, they're normally actually quite prolific at. But Astralis make light work of it. This is furthering this sort of dominant statement that is being made here on this CT side. Leaving the edge of the smoke. Fuzi spots his shoulder for a second, tries a hopeful flick through that smoke, but not to be. Long as a known quantity in towards lower, the molly will just tick. Hitting out his spot. This is bold by Hooksy. It's a nice idea.
I'm such a fan of the idea.
Yeah, lovely idea. Unfortunate on the execution.
Indeed, lots and lots and lots of damage has been done here, though, so it very much could swing on a dime, and that looks to be the case, really. Demon left on 6 HP, leading that charge. He's lost one of his healthier teammates. He's lucky. Yabi runs out of ammo, but he's got support, right? They're able to stand strong. Even the only one to have found any frags. That leaves Lonks with 2 more to get here. He's coming in from behind. Starting to think about it. Move towards the apps. Spotting nobody there. Spotting the bomb for sure. Getting full control of that. Surely now they smell a rat. They think, maybe short, maybe the market. Nice clear, but he will be instantly traded out by Stare. And it's tough for FUT there. They're close in places. They are certainly getting better.
Yeah.
They're just not able to convert these rounds.
Stare's looking so solid. So consistent at the moment. Kind of for a while as well for Stare with this side. Even with kind of the new guys coming in, he has been sort of the superstar of this team, and he continues to perform at an elite level. 12-4 for him. Such an incredible shot. And where we're at as well for FUT, they just can't seem to keep up with not even just him, but Fuzi's his moment. Yabi's looking great as well. They just can't seem to keep up with the firepower. This is an underwhelming performance across the board for FUT, and it's an electric one by Astralis. They look great towards stage 1, but they just continue this roll into stage 2. Fuzi, Ryu, kills a piece. Beautiful, this low buy looks like it's being put to bed easily. Night FUT, they get shut down with just a 1 consolation kill. That is so simple for them.
Going from bad to worse pretty swiftly here. No, another look in for FUT as they take a timeout. They've only got 1 left here as well, so...
The thing is as well, nothing's changed from FUT's timeouts. We saw this in the first map as well. They called them and it was just the kind of same rounds that were thrown in.
Where are FUT? What is happening? You know, this is one of the things that you might see from time to time. Very young team. Very young team in terms of experience, in terms of being in this position, you know, where has it come from, so on and so on. But I think also just the fact that by age, it can be very tough for them to get in the zone and to get rid of the demons, as it were. You do have Lonks there, who sees himself and puts himself forward as a wiser voice. He obviously had a very quick upswing in his career, didn't quite work initially, and a couple of interviews now he said where he didn't feel like he had the guidance and whatnot, so he's trying to be that for these young players. Now would be a great time for that guidance to come through.
Double swing lower to take mid control. Towards top mid, it's a pretty nice split. It's a pretty nice nade though. Demon starts to round out of 34 points of HP before he even spots anybody. Halfway for somebody who is, generally speaking, so important, especially towards these T-side rounds. This gun round is massively important for FUT. 8-1 down. And if you lose here without a bomb plan, which has been hard to come by for the FUT side, it could be a drastically poor half. But Demon will open things up.
Yeah, it could be something to this. He's found some awkward control in the window, which, you know, it really opens up options for that T-side. But we have a very quick flank here from Ryu. And that's going to squeeze this T-side in. They don't have many options available. The Stairs blocking. Fozy does well to find one up close, and Stairs done very well to bait his teammate. That's how you do it successfully. Ryu maybe with a reposition here going to find success as well. And yes, they've lost track of him. He'll take Cemetery. It's all onto Demon, 12 HP. And what can he do, really? He's just out on an island. There is no way that he could have found anything there. And it's another round in from Astralis. Despite an opener from FUT, they just can't break into these bomb sites.
Another stalwart showing from Stair as well. Double for him. Ryu, that flank is so effective. So well done. You can even make the argument that he maybe could have played a little bit of Trigger Discipline just to gain information, but he just doesn't need to. They know they can use it effectively off the numbers. Even Fuzi, only one kill, but that one shot he hits is not easy. 9-2-1. There is only one team in this series. And FUT, they have not come to play in Stage 2, which is such a shame. We didn't get to catch them in Stage 1, and they were so impressive there. I was quite excited to see FUT at their best, but we've got the absolute opposite. Ryu, hopefully fine for the first. For a second, which he gets. The third just about evades him as a drive-by Mach 10 will find one, but Fuzi up close and personal with a combat orb and the support. It's just a stunner of a showing from Astralis. Such a deserved lead that they've got right now in double digits in the first half. FUT, wrap it up, guys. Call it a day.
Yeah, this is just not the matchup right now. They have not shown up to the game, and it's tough to really figure out what's going on. It's an absolute slaughter. They've had close rounds they can't convert. They've had one-sided rounds that they never had a chance in. Just kind of everywhere it feels at this point. Whatever you do, whatever you think of, it's not working. Astralis, similar to the Ancient, have done their homework. Really impressive. A lot of fun here. A lot of fun.
Fuzi. Oh, again, he's just so solid. Everything has been put in front of him, he's delivering. And Stair as well. Mentioned it earlier, but he just continues to be the superstar for this side, and he continues to show.
I didn't see the barrel.
Yeah.
He definitely could have done.
Now risky.
Maybe he did see the barrel, but he didn't act on it. Not sure. Either way. 5-on-3. Far too doable here. Fozy just it's Fozy and Stair, man.
Yeah.
It's just the dynamic duo here, both on 17 kills. Wow. Crazy stuff as Astralis net an 11-1 first half on a map that they really do not like playing stereotypically. Absolutely fantastic stuff. There's not much that I can add to it. FUT's days are numbered here in this opening Stage 2 matchup. We'll see if that's the case or if they can mount something incredible in the second half.
11-1. Astralis, what a showing from them. It's only one side in the server off the back of map number 1, but we sort of assume that heading in towards this map number 2, there may be a little bit more on offer from FUT, but it's arguably got worse. It could be over before it even really begins here in this map and the series. Onto the CT side now for FUT, but I don't know. Astralis actually as well, they're looking A and no one's home.
Yeah, they've gotten in quite quickly here. They are looking to take it nice and simple. Execute comes over the top. What more is there that FUT can do? They've lost the A bomb site. They do have a quick flank in from Krabeni. Stage 1's top performer here. Looking to be the hero on this flank. Clean for the first. Maybe one more from him. Might convince us in. The flash is good from CT. The kills also looking pretty damn good. Suddenly Yabi finds himself alone. Finds the hardest shot. Couldn't get the guy who was reloading though. Either way, FUT have bought themselves some time here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tilter, I think, for Astralis, because they do a couple of things right. Sure, the flank you can't account for, but the CT control they take is really good. They just lose the aim duels. The one thing that we were kind of praising them for in that previous of saying, like, you are winning aim duels against FUT in a consistent manner. This time, not to be. So, yeah, a bit of a tilter of that round kind of falling flat. Love the flick-up shot from Yabi, but all for naught. Bomb plant, plus a couple of kills. Could facilitate a buy, but it actually looks like it might be a bit more of a half investment. A couple of upgraded pistols, Hooksy will pick up a bit of utility. So this is a bit of a throwaway. They've got plenty of rounds to spare, though. So Astralis don't need to rush anything.
Yeah, taking it nice and slow here. Got smoke and 2 flashes. What's the plan for those? I suppose that is the big question here. Are they going to try and fake up short, I feel? Got this one player, or rather not fake up short, but commit up short, I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Maybe there is some kind of a fake going on, though, because he gets nades down for a B move. But there's nobody else with him. So, what is the plan? Contacting up middle here. Unfortunately, Krabeni, it feels like, is in the perfect spot if he can find the peak for this. Oh, he's not going to be ready, though. They're making some noise. He catches them on the boost. Very lucky. They were milliseconds away from finding him, to be honest. He was looking completely the wrong way. Gabby's Deagle chimes in, but he's dealt with on the next attempt. That should be that, to be honest with you. They tried something funky. Didn't quite work. Taking some Deagle headshots here. Ryu's going to have to really go insane to get this one done. Now it's B that looks vulnerable, though, so we'll see what the read is.
They might just go up short to B, but they're going to get caught in the crosshair, surely. Longs should have him dead to right. There we go. There's one. And the 2. Nice and simple. Nice and easy. Felt like a little bit of a convoluted attempt at a pistol there. Like, it's like we're faking smoke and util towards A, and then Hooksy trying to fight, but they're so aggressed in towards kind of B apartments that they know Hooksy's alone there. They know he's the only one who's swinging. There's just one guy. So they're not really baited into stacking the B site. And then even with that kind of like trying to stack the B site, they're not even kind of doing anything to move towards A Astralis. So it feels a little bit convoluted. I think it was very loose mid-rounding. But ultimately a waste of downtime. A nothing round. But it's all buying time for this. All buy-ins there. Will be the first 2 fall long, so swing out from short. The flash didn't actually catch there, but he just loses the aim duel. As Jugs finds one of his own, Hooksy trying to dive around site with the support of Ryu. They take A side control, and they can look for CT control further. Molly down, Ryu wins the fight. This is much, much better.
Ryu, good spot for him here if he can make this work. Spots the shadow first, and they will find all of the important kills, the important battles at the end. Astralis back to their winning ways. The pistol goes against them. As we like to say, though, that pistol can be unpredictable. The high roll from Longs. I think he understands it's just not their day. Unfortunately, it does happen once in a while. The saving grace here is that it's the first round of Swiss. That's maybe all I can give them for this series.
Yeah, it's not exactly a confidence booster. They've taken a bit of time off, it seems, between stage 1 and stage 2, and they've iced themselves out ever so slightly. They were just so electric in this first stage, and anything but here.
Not paid the bills.
Yeah. Ollie will force Krabeni in towards lower. There's no one at the moment there contesting it, but there is a move being made by Ryu. He was always holding this extremity. doesn't commit to going down, Carreño will reclaim the space that he had earlier, but the volley had forced them out of. Double swing.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Benny eliminated. Needed at least one there, right?
Yeah.
Trade the info, but a super clean opener like that for Astralis is just a gift from above. Should be able to now clean up with that, you feel, right? The 5v4, the stronger weaponry, the full belts of utility still available here. So yeah, looking very, very good for Astralis to clean up house in the near future.
Made over to break open. Back on smoke. Wow. I think he actually just spotted the leg of Yabi there. And a hopeful pop shot, but not to be. This is surely looking like the beginning of the end as Hooksy puts pressure on the B site. Feels like selling a bit of a ruse, but the bomb might actually just join them. We'll see. Only one for Demon. As Ryu finds that trade, the scout can't convert. Yabi sees Symmetry off, and it's all on the shoulders of Jugs. Only 6 kills to his name, but that's slightly higher up compared to some of FUT. It's been a one-sided showing, and that just about sums up the performance from FUT. A labored spray and a labored map number 2. We came into this painting the picture that they were one of the best Mirage sides. Well, they get deleted.
Yeah, on both maps, you know, it's absolutely wild to see. Astralis have clearly gone away, taken their time.